And Lawrence, if you could unmute yourself, and it is live.
All right. So good morning, everybody. This is Lawrence Kazan Cassini in Florida and Dan Burke in Pennsylvania. So we've Friday the 5th of February. It seems like February is already halfway through. So the slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. Og Mandino. We have to keep that in mind. So in March 2020, Dan Burke said, don't waste this crisis. I mean, we had a call and we actually talked about that, and he actually said that, and I thought that was something that was very, very profound. Don't waste the crisis. So nearly 1 year later, due to COVID, time of reckoning. So the question is, did you invest in yourself? Did you invest in your home, your family, your business, your relationships, your health, your community, your spirituality? Did you invest in yourself? The theme today is what's in your toolbox. We're going to define what the toolbox is as well. So what's in your toolbox? That's the theme for today. We're going to talk about that.
So if you look back on what happened when COVID first hit and the pandemic first hit, by about April, people were starting to get a little bit cabin fever, and starting to get into doing things around the house. And 70% of Americans decided to do home improvement projects around the house, and you could tell that was people trying to keep busy because they were starting to go a little stir crazy. You go to Lowe's or Home Depot and there were long lines to get things. And then by June, July, August, it was hard to get materials to do projects. So everybody was busy doing things around the house to keep their mind off of what was going on, and projects that had been sitting around that they had been staring at for months or years that were unfinished, and they finally had the time to finish them. So everybody was getting busy improving their environment, their home, their lawn, their yard, their gardens, all of these different things. But how many of them were doing things to improve themselves? How many of us were doing things to improve ourselves? And what's true for home improvement is also true for self-improvement. So if we're looking at home improvement, we're doing that to better our environment. But what are we doing from a self-improvement standpoint to improve ourselves?
Yeah, that's where it all starts. The self-improvement, it starts with us, with ourselves. We can only improve our environment. We can only improve the lives and the lives of the people around us if we understand and improve our own lives. So, for example, one of the ways of improving is reading books. But it's not just to read the book, but it's got to understand and apply it. Because it's one thing to say, I read a book a week, or I've read a book a month, or whatever, so many books. What did we apply from there? What did we can learn? Of course we can learn. But then we've got to be able to apply what we've learned. So, for example, one of the books that I love to refer to or to make reference to is Darrell Hardy, The Compound Effect. Positive, repetitive action, no matter how small, leads to big results over time. Same thing, negative, repetitive results leads to big, negative, repetitive actions leads to big results over time. But we've got to introspect and re-examine our actions, because it's easy to fall into a routine where in a routine where we're not introspecting, we're not tweaking, and so on. January becomes December and 5 years have passed, and we wonder, where the hell has it gone? Where's time gone? And we think either, how did I get into this mess? Or, gosh, how lucky I am. And it's actually just dependent on the actions we've taken. So, you know, personal growth and reading and so on, understanding and applying.
Absolutely. You know, I made a personal commitment to myself and those around me about 25 years ago that I was going to continually be learning, striving to increase my personal development and be a better person than I was today, am today than I was yesterday or the day before. And so a lot of that comes, you know, to personal development. Personal growth today is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to get better, right? But to grow effectively, you need to have the right tools in your toolbox. So I owned a construction company when I first got out of college with a couple of my brothers. I have 8 brothers and 1 sister. And, you know, no matter what project we were going to be doing, we needed to make sure that we had the right tools in our toolbox to not only make the job easier, but more efficient and, you know, put out a better end product. Right. So, you know, we invested in the beginning of our business, we invested a lot in new tools to do flooring, tools to do framing, tools to do tile work, you know, all of those different things. And from a personal growth perspective, it's no different. You need to arm yourself with all of these different tools. And as Lawrence said, you know, good books are an excellent way to do that. I did post in the chat, I put together a list of, I don't know, 6 or 7 books that I've read that I really liked, and then some podcasts on network marketing and business and leadership that I've listened to. So, you know, you can pull those off of the chat if you'd like. But very important to read books. And, you know, another way that you can do that, as I mentioned, is podcasts and listening. You know, there's a number of different auditory ways that you can better yourself and personal growth. You know, one of those for me is I listen to a lot of meditation, and I do a lot of meditation, and then that rolls into the thinking as well. So, you know, you need to make it a point to intentionally spend time each day just thinking. First thing in the morning, think about your priorities for the day. Last thing at night, think about your priorities for the next day. And you know, all of those things combined are going to help you on your personal growth journey and your success in business and whatever you decide to do.
You know, when you mentioned podcasts, or you mentioned listening to recordings and so on, there was a time, which I think I'll go back to doing again, when I would buy, you know, 50 or 60 Jim Rohn CDs. And I would give each one of the people that became a distributor, when they signed up, I would give them a CD of Jim Rohn's, or a couple of CDs, so that they could listen to those. And I think that's the first step with people in the toolbox. The toolbox is actually a lot of the things that are intangible, you know, like being able to listen, being able to introspect, being able to understand, being able to take bold action. This is, you know, the toolbox is something that is in our mind. We've got to be able to be able to have the courage to take bold action when we realize that we're a little bit off course, or we realize that we can improve or ameliorate what we're doing or who we are. The bold action is to actually, the trick is to take the action. And that is also a tool in our toolbox, to introspect, to temper our emotions. You know, we've got so many moving parts in our minds, in our thinking. Those are all parts of our toolbox.
Absolutely. And, you know, books and podcasts are important, but I think, you know, for me personally, thinking about what you're doing, good thinking, positive thinking, taking, you know, figuring out how to take massive action to reach your goals is probably the most important for me. You know, just intentionally thinking about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, think about how I spent my time, what I learned, what do I want to accomplish for the next day, what I accomplished that day or the previous day. you just need to be constantly thinking about what you're doing, how you're doing it, what your why is, what your how is, all of those things that you do to ultimately reach your goals and your dreams in life and in this business. So, the other thing that you can really do for personal growth is have lots of good conversations, right? And so, people that you respect, people that you talk to on a regular basis, physicians that you come in contact with in this business, creating good conversation that helps improve your thinking or your perspective, because you're getting different perspectives and ideas from other people. I've learned a lot from Lawrence in the last 2 years, and we have some pretty good conversations sometimes about this business and about how he does things and what's made him successful. And those are the conversations you need to be having. Talk to people on your team that have been successful in this business. Find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. And that's just going to help you grow personally. And along with that, what you could do is ask a lot of questions. Because you learn a lot more from listening than you do talking, right? And we talk about that a lot on our team calls, Lawrence, about learning to be good listeners and not just spewing out the information that we want to get to everybody. We need to ask good questions and allow them to kind of lead the conversation where it needs to go. And so I think good conversation and good questions are very valid ways, or valid tools in your toolkit. And, we had a person on our team this week that spent a little bit of time, I think he's on this call today, Sid. He told us about a couple of sales calls that he had, and his kind of big breakthrough was, asking questions and let them lead the conversation just by listening. And so he's starting to learn that art and put that tool in his toolbox.
Yeah, Larry King Live, or Larry King, actually was a master at getting people to come forth with whatever he wanted them to bring to the table in terms of what he was looking for. So the art of asking a question, and that is also a tool in our toolbox. The listening part is huge, because you've got to attentively dissect what the person is saying to you, but then ask the right questions to be able to get to the real meat of the substance of the conversation. So these toolboxes, if you will, it's a compendium of different emotions and of different things that we can't really see, touch, but we can feel. So being able to see, Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So if we can look at ourselves and think about how complex we really are and how much talent we've really got, which we don't even know about. Sometimes it's just, we've got to dust it off. We've got to dust off the stuff which we don't even think about, because we have a lot of talent, but we don't use it. We don't use that talent. We kind of forget about it. And as I said once before, we've got to be like a 5-year-old kid, with the excitement of everything around us is brand new. And by doing that, we learn more and more each time, because we've forgotten stuff that a 5-year-old is asking about. And then we get reminded of that. But we should be that too. We should be that 5-year-old kid. When you see somebody and ask the questions and listen. And from that, we can then, look at ourselves, introspection. How have I reacted to that? How am I reacting to life? How am I reacting to the challenges? That's why I always say, who are you? How well do you know yourself? Super important. And what do you want? And what Dan is saying also is to be proactive in what we're doing. He's a person that is very analytical and then proactive. And he says, right, what am I going to do today? What did I do yesterday? What was wrong yesterday? How can I improve it? And this is, I think, so important when you use that tool of being able to look forward with an enthusiasm and say, well, I'm going to today, I'm going to absolutely kill it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And so, it really comes down to the fact that you can't improve your home without the right tools in your toolbox, right? And you can't improve your life without the right tools for personal growth. And, those 5 things: good thinking, good conversation, good questions, good books, and good listening, things to listen to, are all very important in creating that toolkit for yourself. One of the other things that I think is very important, I'm going to bring it back to the team, is your team. Getting to know your team, what books they like to read, what things they like to listen to, how they think about this business and what they do. Have conversations with your team and listen to them. Ask them questions, learn about them, learn what their strengths are, learn what their weaknesses are. Our team is a really big thing that we can have in our toolkit, right? Because we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, and learning more about your team and who has what strengths and weaknesses and where you can kind of combine the best of what you have as a team to be successful is I think a very important tool in that toolkit, right? And so that's part of your personal growth too, is getting to know those people around you through good conversation and good questions, getting to know those people on your team. And so there's a lot of benefits that come from investing in your own personal growth, investing in yourself. Investments come in the form of both time and money. And so if we can learn to increase the tools that we have in our personal toolkit, it's going to bring us those rewards that we want, more money, which leads to more time that we have to do the things that we enjoy. And, in turn, it helps those you touch, who you come into contact with, who are a part of your daily life.
When you said team, I thought about this as well. I thought teenagers, think about your own family as well, because we've got a team in our own family, and we've got these extraterrestrials that dwell in the same abode as we do, somewhere in the house. And they appear periodically, and we don't know who the hell they are. Who is this? This is my 18-year-old son. Oh, hi, Dad. Hi, son. He'll probably say, yeah. So who are these people? We've got to understand our own family team as well. And if we start looking, and if we don't literally sharpen the tool of listening and understanding, whether it's the team, whether it's our teenagers, whoever it is, and we can become impatient, we can become rude, we can become uncaring, and so on. That's just who he is, and just leave it at that. Well, maybe, but at the same time, everybody reacts to certain things, certain actions, in different ways. For some people, something that happens to them is a huge deal. For other people, nothing happened. It's so what? It's no big deal. So we've got to be able to adjust our own feelings and adjust our own communication skills and our listening skills and our empathy and all of these things that are part of the tools to the reaction of every person, and be proactive in other cases.
Yeah, and all these investments that we make in ourselves are going to affect those that we come in contact with on a daily basis, the people that we touch. When you enrich yourself through your investments, of time and money, you're going to improve your relationship with others, and it's going to kind of start to rub off on those around you. When you start to make positive adjustments, especially to your life and your goals and your growth, it's really going to start affecting everyone around you in a positive way. And then on top of that, it can help your career, it can help your business, and things along those lines. So there's a lot of benefits to investing in your personal growth. and adding more tools to your tool kit, or putting more arrows in your quiver, however you want to look at it, there are just a tremendous amount of benefits.
And being able to define what's really important and what is not. What is terribly important for someone in his 30s, person in his 50s might look at it as, whereas what a person terribly important for a person in his 50s, a person in his 30s hasn't got a clue what he's thinking about. So even that is to be able to define there what's important, and then be able to have the unswerving belief in ourselves. That is a tool we need to have. Unswerving belief in ourselves, in my opinion. And for example, I used to say, we've got to love ourselves. Well, what do you mean love yourself? Are you some kind of narcissist? No. Love yourself is by having pride in what you do, by being enthusiastic in how we do things, in being happy, in understanding that what we've got is a gift, rather than dwell in things that we don't have. And these are all tools, in my opinion, that we can draw from. And if the more you love yourself, the more grateful you'll be for what you have and for being able to help other people.
Absolutely. So, investing in your heart, that's very important. Take breaks to spend time alone with your thoughts so you can examine them. If they're overly negative, you need to change them. Negative thoughts will turn your heart in a negative direction. So, trying to maintain that positivity and keeping a positive heart is going to not only affect you, but it's going to affect those around you. So now you have this compound effect, right? Because you're investing in your heart, and then it's impacting those around you. Then that impacts them, and then they go out and it impacts people that that they spend time with. So there's this huge compound effect to all of these things: investing in your heart, investing in your mind, and investing in your relationships, right? Regardless of how you want to feed your heart and grow your heart, make time for feeding that. Make time for feeding your heart. That's the essence of who you really are. And so, that's going to come out in different ways to different people. And so you want to make sure that that's coming out in a positive way, not a negative way.
And by being who you are like that in a positive way, and by being enthusiastic and so on, you bring out the better part of other people. Try some things. Just try. Go into a place where, well, now we've got face masks, but if you look at somebody who you don't know, maybe in a supermarket or it doesn't matter where, and smile, that person will smile back. They don't know what you're smiling about, but they'll smile back. So we can impart our positivity, we can impart our own good traits by bringing out the good traits in other people as well. This is the art of life, in my opinion, is to help people to get to their highest level. Of course, we've got to get to our highest level, but we've got to get them to their highest level too. And this is where it becomes exciting, when we've got a team to work with, because we all have different tools in these toolboxes that we can pool and help the group, help the team. And that's the progression, the rising of the team. And that's what makes it exciting. It makes it fun. And this is ultimately what we're looking for, is just to have fun and obviously help people achieve whatever their goals are.
That, what you're talking about again is that compound effect. You said one of your favorite books, I forget who the author was, but it's called The Compound Effect, right? And so that compounding happens in everything that we do. And if we can bring positivity to that, bring to the right tools to that, and we can all pull them together as a team, it's just that compound effect is going to happen for our team, right? And so it's super important to just remember that you can't improve your home without the right tools in your toolbox, and you can't improve your life without the right tools for personal growth. Right? That's what this whole talk is about: investing in yourself and having the right tools in your toolbox. And hopefully we gave you some ideas for adding some tools into your toolkit if you didn't have them, or increasing the tools that you have in your toolkit. So do you want to take some questions, Lawrence?
Sure.
Unless you have anything else to say.
No, I just want to say that, a couple of books also that I like are Outwitting the Devil, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. There are many, many books, but they're all books that Think and Grow Rich, of course, 7 Habits of Effective People, Stephen Covey, Maximum Achievement, Brian Tracy. There's so many of them, but it is important that we grow ourselves so that we can grow all the tools in our toolbox, which are these intangible things that I'm talking about. So if anybody any questions, please go ahead, fire away. Thanks, Dan. I agree with you. Anybody have anything to say or to add or to detract? Anybody have anything? Please go ahead. Happy to see if anybody has anything. No questions? No inputs? Nothing?
I don't know. I don't have a question. I just have a comment that everyone can smile through their eyes because we always have our mask on, but they can see us smiling through your eyes. Thank you very much, you guys.
You're
absolutely, right. Absolutely agree, Dee Dee.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Good. Okay. Well, then, thanks everybody for being on the call. And we look forward to seeing you, the ones who can come to Boca tomorrow. And if not, then we'll see you on Monday with Scott Bennett's call, and on Wednesday with Mancy and Kent Nelson. Thank you for everybody. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being on the call.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Lawrence and Dan, for your continued enlightenment.
Stay blessed, everybody.